What's up everyone, Textacity here, and a couple of days ago I watched a one-on-one interview between MKBHD or Marcus and the founder and CEO of Microsoft, that is Bill Gates. And I view it in a different perspective on how interviews are conducted, or what you should do, what you should ask, how you should just conduct an interview, and this is what I have to say on that. So first of all, a boring interview is the one asking the questions will be expecting answers like yes or no, and no further explanation on whichever questions asked or whichever concept he or she wants to be clarified. So when you're asking or when you're conducting an interview, just try to pick questions which won't necessarily have to be answered in either yes or no, but to have a further explanation on whichever topic you want. I also loved the way MKBHD conducted these questions by not necessarily jumping into what Microsoft is, the founding date. Of course, all this information is on the internet, so he didn't necessarily have to jump into asking Mr. Bill or Bill Gates those questions about why he decided to found or create Microsoft, if found is a word, and then the starting dates. Of course, all these things on the internet, whereby he could have just gone and researched and found out all this stuff about Microsoft. Then of course on that interview he added some nitty-gritty stuff, the ones that are like hidden from the internet or from the faces of the internet, like not most people know. For example, the one that Bill Gates jumped over the chair. Of course, around 97% of the internet doesn't know that, and by internet I mean the users of the internet and such. But it's until that point that we knew that this thing had ever happened at some sort of time. Of course, I linked that video. I'll put its link in the description below so you can check it out, or the tweet that Mr. MKBHD made and posted it on his timeline. I'll link all those in the description box below. Those concepts that I've talked about, among other things, are what could make an interview interesting, and in a nutshell, whatever could make an interview interesting to watch. Number one, know your questions, or the questions that you're going to ask someone, and not necessarily having to be a yes or no question. For example, do you like this? What's your perspective on, or what and what happens? Just try to ask questions that could have diverse or simplified or much explained answers, and that could be an interesting interview. Then another thing, try to think on a different perspective. On maybe you can introduce a question, and after it has been explained well, try to think about the different perspective of that answer in regard to your questions, or in regard to your next question, and you can learn much from that. Anyway, thanks for watching this one, and I hope to talk to you in the next one, possibly next week, because that's my schedule. And let's catch up with each other later, and thanks for watching.